So what I'm going to do that I'm going to just give you a little bit brief history of the program, and then just brief about the Valencia trial and some of the new ones that we have released and what we're going to do next in the new project as well. So originally, what happened that the rootstock program started, the import of the Chinese rootstock started with funding from the ACR project back in 1993-94. So we imported the rootstock from China and Vietnam, and then we screened them for bud union incompatibility, disease, salt tolerance, and uniformity. And once we have selected the good rootstocks, we established the mother trees at Dayton, and after that we raised seedlings and produced trees for the research trials at Dayton Institute. So once the trees are produced, the ACR trial, ACR funding was finished, and since then the Hort Innovation Australia has funded this trial with growers levy, I think from 2000. So for the last 16 years, Hort Innovation and citrus growers are funding those trials for the evaluation purposes. So originally what happened that the program was like that we planted, when we received the seeds from Vietnam and China, we planted them at the different stages. So the first stage was in 1999, where we planted mixed rootstocks. Mixed rootstock means that we had Trifoliata, Mandarin types, sour orange, yuzu, Ichingensis, or different types we planted together. So that was the mixed rootstocks that we planted in 1999. Then we have the second stage of planting, which was predominantly 22 Trifoliata types, and these Trifoliata were different than which went to the first stage here. And the third plantation was in 2005, which was Vietnamese rootstock. These were predominantly Mandarin and some orange types. All these stages were planted with 4 different citrus species like Nevelina, Lane Late, Imperial, and Eureka. And there were around about 12 replicated trial and more than 1,200 trees that we were managing. And all this was funded by Hort Innovation. So we had an extensive data collection program when we were planting those trials, and we were collecting the information, which includes tree harvest, fruit grading and fruit size distribution, fruit quality, fruit size up here, bud union compatibility, and also we're looking at the health status of the tree. So when the trials were finished, we uprooted the trials and looked at the root system as well, specifically for the Valencia trial. And you can see that was the root assessment. So I'll just, what happened that I'll present some results from only the first stage. And these were all those types of rootstocks which were included in their trial, like Trifoliata, Mandarin, Erythrosa, Yuzu. So the results which I'll present basically only for Valencia at this stage. So these were this is the trial which was planted in 1999, and this were the results from 2002 to 6, and that was at Dayton, which is a deep sandy soil conditions. And if you look at the yield efficiency, and the yield efficiency means that the yield divided by the trunk size, or trunk cross-sectional area, that some of the Chinese rootstocks at that stage were doing really well in terms of the yield efficiency. This is Donghai, Tangi, Lunan, and all these, compared to the Troya. We didn't have Trifoliata as a control here. And we were sort of getting the messages at that time that some of these Chinese rootstocks, Trafoliata rootstock are doing well even in the sandy situation. And if you can see here at the sweetness, Xaviang has the highest sugar levels here in this chart. So the rootstock that we selected from our trials from the sandy soil conditions, we wanted to test them now into different soil situation and climatic conditions as well, because something which is selected in sandy soil may not be suitable to the clay soil or other way around. So what we did that we did a semi-commercial trial here in Riverina. So this is the trial in Stanbridge. So what we did that we planted these different Valencia clones, Valencia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and used Keenan as a control, and we grafted those to Xaviang, Tanghi, and Donghai. All three of them are Trafoliata, Chinese Trafoliata, and used the Tri-22, which is the Australian strain, as a control. So the tree density was 714 trees that we planted in 2010. And here, Andrew Creek is kind of looking after this trial. He's managing this for us. So looking at 2015 data, which was a high cropping year in this trial, we had, if you look at here, these are the rootstocks and these are the clones. So if you zeroed in on that, Xaviang with Valencia 5 have given a really good results, which is 45 kilogram per tree. And if you compare it to Trifoliata on Keenan on Trifoliata is 31. So that's the difference. And also, Valencia 5 with Xaviang has the higher Brix values, total soluble solids, 12.3 compared to the control combination, 11.4. So see, in the sandy conditions, Xaviang wasn't performing that well if you look at the yield efficiency compared to those other. But when we brought them into the clay soil condition, it's performing better than any other. So that's why you need to test the rootstocks not only in a different condition, that how they perform. Because one rootstock which perform in one place with specific soil may not perform very well in other place and things like that. And because these clones belongs to the grower, they doesn't belong to us, so they are registering Valencia 5 as a DV Valencia. It's a very sweet Valencia variety. Just looking at a little bit of the economic returns here for the 2 years data. So what we did that here we have got 2015, which was a high cropping year for these small trees, and 2016 was low cropping year. But if you look at the Keenan and Trifoliata combination, it has 22 tons per hectare, and 32s were with Valencia 5 on Xaviang, which is the better one. And they were giving us the returns of that many dollars per hectare, which is the difference between the control and this better treatment was 2,800 that in a high cropping year. In the low cropping year, there was also, although the yield were lower, but for this Xaviang and Valencia 5 combination, it was higher, and it was giving us the difference of $840 per hectare. So if you average those 2 years out, low cropping, high cropping, so you're getting a difference of 1,820 per hectare, which is 37% increase compared to the control combination. So it suggests that it's a better rootstock for Valencia in that situation. We also recently released some of, after these results, some of our new rootstocks. The minister, Niall Blair, he was at the ceremony at the Parliament House, and from our growers, we have grower representative Vito Mancini there as well. So we released those 6 rootstocks, and these were 4 trifoliata, which is Donghai, Tanghi, Zhaoyang, and Ghana. So these 4 are the trifoliata rootstocks. And a couple of them are the Erythrosar mandarin tribe. These are Kaoshi Shangju, and Enjiang Hongju, which are also a very good rootstock, but these are far more suitable for the mandarin types, for imperials and these are suitable for the sweet olive types. So these were the 4 trifoliata rootstocks and the 2 mandarin. And more detail, much more details about each individual rootstock is available if you go to the New South Wales DPI website and go to the rootstock section. So it's available there and also in Citrus Connect as well. These rootstocks are fully available to the growers from Citrus, and there is no extra charge or anything. It's the same price as trifoliata rootstocks. So these are not IP or anything, so they are public for the growers, because when we did the evaluation went with your money, and that's what you're getting benefit and you're getting back. So it's openly available. It's public rootstocks. Only in Australia, not in overseas. Because only for the Australian growers. Apart from identifying some rootstocks for yield and quality, we also identified some rootstocks which are salt tolerant, and some of them are Chinese rootstocks as well. But so what we did that, as we don't really have too much water, salt in the water, so we wanted to test them where they can be tested in the salty condition. So we took them to Bindoon in WA. So that we established these trials with 5 different rootstocks which came out of the New South Wales DPI breeding program, and 4 rootstocks came from the California breeding program, and there were 4 Chinese rootstocks with them. And we used a few rootstocks as a control, which is Rangpur Lime, Troya Citrain, Swingle Citromelo, and Sankey Mandarin as a control. And Kevin Lacey from WA is looking after these trials for us. So, because the trees are very small, but they're showing some promise right now. So what we're seeing here that looking at the accumulative yield for two years, 2016, because 16 was its first crop, and 2017, we're seeing that these 2 hybrids, New South Wales DPI hybrids, are actually doing really well compared to anything else. So these hybrids are trifoliata and scarlet mandarin. So these two selections. So both selections from DPI, Gosford, are doing really well. But we will see by collecting another 3 or 4 years data, finally we'll be able to make some recommendation about them. This is the photo of the hybrid, the first hybrid. It's got a nice height, good trunk circumference, so scarlet mandarin trifoliata. And this is Zhaoyang, which seems to be showing a little bit dwarfing effect in the salt condition. The reason we put Zhaoyang in there because we believe that Zhaoyang has got a little bit salt tolerance, but we are not sure. That's why we are testing it there. It's still surviving though. So this was a little bit about the previous. Now we are going to do some more work in this new project. And what we're trying to do that we're trying to spread some of these rootstock trials throughout Australia at the grower properties. So we got a program where we have developed the trees, and they're getting planted this month in October now, because it took us 2 years to grow the trees for them. So these trials will be in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and also in WA, and there are 4 sites in this area. In the new in the new trial, we're going to have some dwarfing effect trials as well at Dayton, which are going to get planted next week. And we are negotiating with Dr. Kim Bowman to import some HLB tolerant rootstock, which they have released, which will be also tested at Dayton in this new project. So the summary is that we have released 6 rootstocks. Zhaoyang is doing well with V5. There are grower trials and dwarfing trials are underway. There are a couple of Gosford hybrids are showing promise, and hopefully we'll be able to import some HLB tolerant rootstock and test them for yield and quality. Thank you.